Maverick. Noun, unusual person. A visionary, leader, go-getter, an independent thinker. They see the vision for their life and pull that future towards them with an unyielding belief that things can and must be better. They achieve what most won't. Innovative, influential, daring, and direct, with a remarkably high tolerance for taking calculated risk. A foe to the status quo. This is Passive Real Estate Investing with Mavericks. Your host, Neil Timmins, has been involved with over $300 million in real estate transactions. He's a published author, commercial property investor, and real estate syndicator. This show is for those who want to learn how to earn passive income through real estate investing. Now, here's your host, Neil Timmins.
It's another Financial Freedom Friday. I've got Ava Bouwkamp here with me. We are going to tackle 5 retirement beliefs to unlearn.
Hey Mavericks, this is Ava Bouwkamp, and this episode of Passive Real Estate Investing with Mavericks is brought to you by Legacy Impact Investors. We are an industrial investment firm located in cash flow country, the Midwest. We strive to shield off risk and beat inflation, all while producing predictable cash flow. We curate real estate investment opportunities for busy professionals and other real estate investors seeking passive income. To learn more about what we do and connect with me, go to www.legacyimpactinvestors.com.
Welcome to Passive Real Estate Investing with Mavericks, where we provide actionable steps for you to grow your passive income and become job optional. During this episode, you're going to get to discover the 5 retirement beliefs to unlearn. For those of you who are new, I'm your host, Neil Timmins. I love passive income from real estate. Now, before I introduce you to Ava Bouwkamp, who many of you know with another Financial Freedom Friday, I want to make a request that at any point during the show, you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the show, never miss a valuable episode. And if you love what you hear, well, give us a written review. Plus, be sure to look at this description of this episode. We've packed it with thousands of dollars in free resources. It's Friday. Ava Bouwkamp's here with me. We're tackling, Ava, the 5 retirement beliefs to unlearn.
I'm doing great. Very excited to be here and talking about this topic, even though, of course, both of us are very far away from retirement, but it's important to be thinking about even now.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You know, we're fed a lot of things growing up. A tremendous amount of what we as individuals learn is passed down from our parents about financial and the financial education that we receive, because it's not formally taught through schools, not in any meaningful manner. And so, and as you grow up, you get older, you read, and a lot of us offshoot into multiple places. And what we've found out and discerned boiled down to, there's really underlying beliefs that should be unlearned in order to achieve true financial freedom. And that's what we're tackling here today.
Yeah. And like you said, they're things that we absorb, and they're not necessarily, it's not from a malicious standpoint of, we failed to teach you this because we didn't want you to know. By and large, it's because people, our parents, our grandparents didn't have a concept of these things. And so it's important to change that trajectory while we can, teach ourselves some new ways to think about retirement. And then also that sets your kids up, your grandkids up for future financial stability. And that's a great thing.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I want to jump into some retirement stats. Before that, let me just say, hey, neither one of us is an attorney. We don't play one on TV, nor are we financial advisors. So none of this should be construed as an investment advice. With that, let's jump into some stats. I know you've got some real or startling stats queued up for us relative to retirement.
Yeah, I love getting some hard data, some statistics. So pulled a couple of stats, and like you said, they're pretty eye-opening. So an April 2023 report from Credit Karma found that about 27% of people who are 59 or older have no retirement savings. They have not saved anything for retirement. So if you think about that, someone who's 59 or up is either retired or very close to retirement age and has not saved anything up for retirement. The average retiree in the U.S. spends $4,345 on monthly expenses. But then you look at how much, people have saved for retirement. If you're in that 27% who haven't saved anything, that doesn't set you up very well. But the median American is not much better off. Vanguard did a study in 2022 it's called How America Saves. And they found that for people in the age ranges of 45 to 54, the median number of savings for retirement, $61,530. For those 55 to 64, median savings of $89,716. For those 65 and older, median savings of $87,725. And I'll add to that some bad news from Fidelity is that the average balance of a 401k tumbled 20.5% in 2022. So if you are in that age range where you're really banking on your 401k to be your sole retirement plan, and you retire in a time when inflation is running rampant, that can really chew into your retirement savings. And so those are some numbers. We wanted to give you some data about why we think it's really important to talk about this topic of retirement.
Well, it's startling to me, when you first showed me this and said, hey, 27%, well, I mean, just a little greater, 1 of 4 Americans who are 59 plus have zero goose egg in retirement savings. It's absolutely mind-boggling to wonder how in the world they're going to make it. And then, the median across the country at any age category does not have, there's not even 6 figures saved at any age category that Vanguard did in their study to have in retirement savings. And as a result, some of this is we've been fed beliefs, fallacies over our lifetime that have led to a number of people, they've become in their operating system. This is their belief, and therefore they operate in a certain way. So if we're to operate in a new way, certainly we have to have a different belief. So let's tackle these beliefs that, if you possess them, they should be unlearned.
Yes. So number one is that you work for 2/3 of your life, 65-ish years. You work super hard and then you save. You'll have enough cash set aside that you can just withdraw from that cash, enjoy your life after 65, travel, and you can really only enjoy the fruits of your hard work once you're retired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. That has been a corporate fed that you study for this period of time and then you get a job and work for the next 40 years and then you retire when and sail off into the sunset when you start eating dinner at 4:30 and want to go to bed by 8:30 and your health declines. That's not much of a life. But past that, you may not have enough. Is the reality of this. It just may not be the case. You may live longer. And I read a study or a survey that was done a handful of years ago. So don't question me as to who the source provider was, but somewhere in the top 2 fears people have. One of the top fears obviously is decline of health. The second one is outliving their money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people grossly underestimate how much they will need for themselves or for their spouse for healthcare costs in retirement. There are just a lot of things that we can't plan for and can't control from a health perspective. And so it's important as you think about retirement to make sure, do I have the proper funds and means and tools in my tool belt to, if those health concerns come up, able to absorb and handle those without, causing tons of anxiety and problems down the road.
Yeah. And then just working hard and just saving is not enough. Savings is not a mechanism to be able to accumulate. And one must invest. You must outpace inflation if you're to get ahead and chip away at anything in order to have a meaningful nest egg to see yourself through for what your needs are and your family's needs.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this is a bit more of a metaphysical point here, but life in retirement doesn't just have to be you sitting on a beach. Mm-hmm. You want the financial freedom to go sit on the beach if you want to, but you also have to think about the legacy that you're leaving for your kids and your grandkids. Is that really the pattern that you want to set for them? Is that you just have to wear yourself thin and stash away all this cash until you're 65. And then once you get there, you're kind of in this frozen position where you're trying not to basically run out of resources until you're gone. It's a pretty sad way to look at things. And so coming up with a better strategy where, like you said, you can be producing income while you're retired so that you don't have to live in this posture of fear for the rest of your life.
Belief number 2, Social Security is going to get me through.
There's not a lot to add to this one. So what I did was I pulled some more stats, pulled some more data. So the Social Security Administration reports that almost 9 out of 10 people 65 and up receive Social Security benefits. So lots of people are receiving Social Security benefits. The average in 2023 of about 67 million Americans received Social Security benefits in 2023, totaling $1 trillion. That's a huge amount of money. But as we've probably heard in different headlines and in the news, is that those funds for Social Security are expected to be depleted within the next decade. So NPR reported that the Social Security fund is expected to be depleted by 2033. That estimation keeps moving up, and Medicare is actually expected to be depleted by 2031. And then you add to that is that there are 58 million Americans, roughly 65 and up, who are receiving Social Security right now. There will be about 76 million people who qualify to receive Social Security based on the age bracket by 2035. So we've got depleting funds in the Social Security fund, but then also a huge influx of people that will be reaching that retirement age to qualify for Social Security. So it's a lose-lose equation.
It's been called the greatest Ponzi scheme in history for a reason. We have exactly what you just said. We have more demand than people coming in, and so something's going to break. And there's absolutely material changes that have to take place inside Social Security if it is going to ever exist by the time, Ava, you and I ever would be eligible to receive a check.
Yep. I think just best to probably not plan on it.
Third one, ignoring inflation. Ignoring inflation.
Yes. So as we all have experienced over the past couple of years, is that inflation, it's easy to forget about, but when it comes back, everyone pays attention to it. So did some numbers, ran 3 scenarios, basic assumptions for someone who has $500,000 in savings, withdrawing the same amount. We have 3 retirees, retiree A, B, and C, but each of them retire with different levels of inflation at the time they retire. So retiree A retires and experiences 2% inflation. Her retirement savings last her about 22 years. Retiree B with 4% inflation, her savings only last her 18 years. Retiree C with 6% inflation, those savings dwindled down to 15 years. So we went from 22 years down to 15 years with a 6% inflation at the very bottom. And over the last 12 months, we've experienced an average inflation rate of 7%. So those are, when you do the math, that inflation number can hugely impact, you can save and save and save, do all the right things. And then there are these external factors that you can't control that seriously impact your ability to retire with peace of mind.
People just either discount it, they ignore it, but it's real. Warren Buffett labels it the invisible tax. The invisible tax, it's eating away at your ability to spend. You're having your spending power. It's very material to be able to, and you could have illustrated it better. How many years is it going to take off your retirement right there?
Yeah. And you think if you're in that scenario where all of a sudden what you thought was going to last you 20 years now is only lasting you 15 years, you have to either get another part-time job, you have to downsize your home, you have to make some serious adjustments to the lifestyle that you anticipated living. And then that doesn't give you, again, flexibility for things like healthcare costs and other surprises that may come up down the road.
Number 4, not preparing for 401k fees and taxes.
All right. So we all know that 401ks come with fees and taxes, but it's pretty easy to overlook how much those can chew into your retirement savings. So Really, a 401k just kicks your tax implication down the road. Those funds go in pre-tax, but they come out taxed like regular income. So you get taxed on withdrawal, and then you have required minimum distribution. So you have to take money out when you get to a certain age. But you can also get slapped with early withdrawal penalties if you take money out too early. And then you have 4 categories of fees associated with 401ks. You have investment, administrative, individual service, and custodial fees. So by the time you have 1, 2, maybe 3% of your 401k getting eaten up in fees, that can seriously diminish the amount of money you actually are able to take out of your retirement account.
There's no doubt. And most of those, the biggest challenge is to find what those fees are. If we go to a restaurant, you pay a bill, you see the line item, sales tax, X%, you see it's right there. Most of these fees get buried so far down inside of the retirement plans. You have to dig to be able to find them and then, read up to be able to understand them.
Yeah, definitely. And also if you were able to take that money out without tax, like you do with a Roth, you paid those taxes up front 20 years ago when that essentially that money, it was better to pay it with money then than to have to pay taxes on that money now.
Number 5, the last one for us. You do not need to earn income when you're retired.
Yeah, this is a big one. Everyone thinks retirement, I'm done. I'm done working. I'm done, producing an income. But this is not true. You can still produce an income while you are retired, even without having to go get another job or a part-time job. That's why we love real estate. Real estate produces that passive income, whether you own real estate yourself or perhaps you're invested with a group of other investors into syndication. That is a way to really supplement your existing retirement savings. We're not saying don't go out and save for retirement. You can use real estate as a tool to produce additional income, really combat inflation. And the great thing about real estate is it produces income, but then it also allows you, if you are in an inflationary environment, to harness the appreciation that comes along with real estate in that kind of environment. So it gives you a win-win tool in your retirement tool belt.
In my opinion, retirement should be done on your terms, to have the freedom and flexibility to do so when you want, where you want, and how you want. That I want to buck the traditional mindset of that retirement is an age. And I would agree that it's a number, but it's not an age. It is a cash flow figure. Well, how much cash flow do I have? And then what are my monthly expenses? As soon as my cash flow exceeds my monthly expenses, I'm out of that rat race, if you will. We can live however we choose to live at any age. And it's bucking the things that we've been taught and fed by, at a societal level and through the limitations, the limited information we get from a financial standpoint as students growing up, and carving our own path.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's all about that peace of mind, that mental and emotional freedom to, when you're in retirement, be able to go do the things that you want to do. Do you want to go spend more time with your grandkids? Do you want to go work on a disaster relief project? Do you want to be more involved in your community? Producing income while you're retired allows you to take on those projects with complete freedom, and you're not restricted by, well, I only saved this much, so I can only do this much. If that's not a part of your thought process because you're still producing income, then the only limitation is you determining how much do I need to make. And from there, the choices are completely yours to make.
There's no doubt about that. What a great conversation. I love these Financial Freedom Fridays, as always with you, Ava. It's a wonderful conversation. I'm going to give you the last word.
All right. Last word is think about your retirement now. It may seem like it's really far away, but the best time to think about this was yesterday, but the second best time is right now. So be thinking about ways where you're not just saving money for retirement, but you're figuring out strategies that work for you, for your financial comfort, for your financial peace of mind, to have income producing strategies that give you the ability the flexibility and the freedom to live life on your terms when you are retired.
All right, I said I was going to give you the last word, but I'm stealing it. Those who fail to plan to fail. See everybody next Friday. To our listeners, pat yourself on the back. You guys have made it to the end of the show, and most people never finish what they start. If you receive value from today's show, be sure to share it on LinkedIn, your Facebook page, or your social media platform of choice. Subscribe to never miss a valuable episode in the future. And if you found value in today's episode, give us a thumbs up with a positive review. If there's a particular topic you'd like to hear about, well, I want to hear from you. Shoot me a message on LinkedIn. The link to my profile is below in the show notes. You can connect with me there for more valuable content.